Hey everyone, this is Sean, and you are watching Empathy on MyPaganChannel. First off, I want to say that this was a video request from a very, very close friend of mine who has asked me to specifically cover a few things, such as what empathy is, how to control it, and how to cope with it. Empathy is the ability to sense and experience the feelings of others. It usually manifests in more clairsentient people who have more of a knack for being able to understand what other people are feeling. Clairsentience translates to clear feeling, which is one of the many different branches of psychic abilities, which I will do a series on probably in the near future. Empaths, people who have empathy, tend to display a number of characteristics, such as an extreme sensitivity to the feelings of others, an acute awareness of their surroundings, a clear understanding of body language, a strong knowledge of human emotion, as well as the ability to feel deeper than others. Now, with empathy, there is a spectrum. There's extremely basic and extremely advanced. Whereas with extremely basic, the most basic empathic abilities is the ability to just sense what another person is feeling, and maybe sometimes feeling what the other person is feeling. With more advanced empaths, they have the ability to feel everything of what a person is feeling. Not just sensing, but feeling, and they feel it as if it was them feeling that same exact emotion. Sometimes the very advanced empaths who don't know how to control their empathic abilities get so engaged with the feelings of other people that they tend to lose themselves and sometimes forget about their own identity because they identify so strongly with the emotions that they're feeling so much. With an empath, they feel the emotions and physical pains of others as intensely or even more intensely than their own. Meaning, an empath who is picking up on the feelings of a person across the room who is rather angry, and that empath isn't even angry at the slightest, they pick up on that anger, and they feel it as if they were angry, as opposed to, oh, someone's angry in this room, it's like, I'm angry. An empath is extremely sensitive to all the energies around them, not just the energies of a person that's close to them, but they feel everything. The extremely advanced empaths feel as if they were feeling that emotion, like I've stated over 20 million times in this video. Sometimes the empath can fall victim to tremendous stress and inner conflict. Sometimes it can cause the empath to go into bouts of nervousness and maybe have even a nervous breakdown because they're feeling so much at once. Sometimes feelings of sadness and melancholy can overcome an empath and just come out of nowhere and overcome and consume the person. And it can be very confusing for an empath who isn't well versed in their abilities or may not fully understand it because they're still trying to sort out what they're feeling and what other people are feeling. At some point in most empaths' lives, it's not surprising if they end up going through a bout of extreme severe depression. Empaths, like the feelings, the combination of really low and really high levels of emotions, like the really low, depressing, grief, loss, all those low feelings mix up with the fact that they're feeling really happy or really joyous feelings at the same exact time causes an extremely intense emotional roller coaster that causes them to not be able to understand anything about what's going on or how to deal with these emotions, especially for the inexperienced and untrained empath. Sometimes there's some thought that empathy isn't just only its own one ability, but sometimes people can develop empathy in the form of a use of multiple psychic abilities, such as an empath may unknowingly use psychometry to receive information by simply touching a person or an object, and the empathic ability that a person has would end up processing that information into feelings. So, in a sense, it can even go beyond these two, like a combination of clairsentience and claircognizance, which is a clear feeling and clear knowing, meaning that the person picks up on some sort of feeling around them, and then the claircognizance, which is clear knowing, identifies immediately what that emotion is and knows what that emotion is. So it can be a combination of any number of psychic abilities, or it can just be a person is an empath. Again, it's just an idea that's been going around a lot, that I've been hearing, that I've been reading about a lot, where it's not just one psychic ability, but a combination of a number of them. And until an empath understands the process of how they get these emotions, or how they get their feelings, or that the individual process that an empath deals with, to determine whether or not that they're strictly using an empathic ability or if they're using a team of abilities, it will continue to be difficult for the person to control the information that they're receiving. It requires a lot of time and patience to understand what each ability is and to test yourself in each. But once you do that, once you have that baseline that's established, it will become easier to see how each one of those abilities is connected and how all of them interact with each other and function to create that empathic ability that people have. Coping with empathy, I would have to say you would need to meditate a lot, figure out how to ground yourself, learn how to distinguish between your emotions and another person's emotions. Something that you could do, an exercise I ended up finding at one point while I was searching the web. Find out who you're picking up on. Visualize yourself with a string that's attached to that person that you're picking up on, and that little string is the transmission, is the kind of the cable between you and the other person, allowing that psychic transmission to happen. And until you cut that cable, you're still going to be picking up on that. You can either remove yourself from that situation, or you can be proactive and cut that cord, so that way you aren't feeling what that person's feeling. That way you won't have to remove yourself from a situation if you don't want to, and you can control it better. You can manage how much you're feeling and who you're feeling. With another way that you can deal with it is when you're feeling that energy coming through you, that those feelings coming through you, you send it down through your body into the earth, so that way you are not holding on to it. It's not sticking with you. You're cleansing yourself of those feelings. You've still felt those feelings from the other person, but you're sending them away. You acknowledge that they existed. You acknowledge that those feelings existed, but you ended up putting them away, taking them away from yourself, and letting yourself not have to feel those if you didn't want to. So that's something that you could do. In a sense, it's kind of a grounding exercise, but more of a emotional-based grounding exercise, where you send it all out. You take it in, and then you send it out. Onto empathy as a gift or a curse, which is something that I've heard a lot. I can understand why people think it's a curse. I can understand why people think it's a gift. The argument that's been put up with empathy being a curse is that they feel every emotion that a person is feeling, every negative and positive one, causing that empath to go on that psychic roller coaster that they don't understand, that they can't deal with on their own. Something that makes it very hard for them to deal with. And as a result, because an empath is worrying so much about what other people are feeling and what is wrong with other people, they tend to neglect themselves, causing them to experience poor health due to self-neglect, emotional stress, and physical fatigue. Because an empath can even be physically fatigued by the feelings that they're picking up from another person. Because empaths not only just pick up on emotions, they also pick up on physical pain. And that's something that they always have to deal with on a daily basis. And I can understand why it's considered a curse. But there's also the fact that it can also be considered a gift, because you have the ability to know people on a more emotional level. You can understand more what they're going through, so that way you can be there for them in their time of need. You can help heal a person on a level that most people can't. And that's something that you can learn after more training, more understanding of your own abilities. It's all in the person, it's all in the empath's mindset and how they think of it. Because the more negatively you think about it, the more of a negative aspect it's going to hold towards you. The more of a positive aspect of it, the more positive way that you feel about it will make it feel as if it's more of a gift than a curse. And that's something that is extremely important to an empath, whether or not they're able to consider it a gift or a curse. The best advice I can give an empath is that you need to have someone to confide in that you know will not consider you to be psycho, to consider you to be crazy or off your rocker in a sense. Talking helps, because with any sort of person who's dealing with emotional upheaval, talking really does help, because it helps you to relieve that pain, relieve that stress that you are feeling. And it's pretty much the same way as if a person is suffering from grief or loss. They feel that pain. They have to feel that pain. They wouldn't be feeling that pain if they weren't able to feel it. And they wouldn't be able to feel it if they weren't ready to feel it. But to be able to help lessen that pain, to get past it, to get over it, talking is what's necessary. And talking with someone that you know that you can trust and confide in to help you. Someone that you know will never judge you for being you. To be able to live as an empath, you need to minimize the personal reaction to the information being received. What I mean by that is that you need to be able to identify it as either yours or someone else's. And with that comes a lot of practice, a lot of patience, and a lot of time. And eventually you'll be able to distinguish between what's yours and what's theirs. And you'll be able to understand that this is what they are feeling, and this is what you are feeling. And that way you won't be overcome with it. This video got really long-winded, and I'm sorry that it took so long for me to put up another video, but I do work full-time, as I've already told you all. But I'm going to continue to try making these videos, because I feel like I need to, for people who are out there who are having issues with this kind of stuff, as well as people who just want to know. And I feel like I need to start putting out more. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all found it helpful. For the empaths who are watching this video, I really hope that this information and advice that I put out really helps you in your own lives, and helping you to understand and to control your own empathy. And that's all I have to say. Whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you all are at, you have my blessings, and I put those out to you. Alright, blessed be. Have a nice night.